So the sequel to the 2019 Shazam movie has been released, titled Shazam Fury of the Gods, and to tell you guys the truth, I watched it mainly because of Grace Caroline Carey. She plays Mary. I mean, come on, look at her. Megan Good.
Yep, definitely a goddess. Rachel Zegler playing Anthea, Martha Milans playing Rosa, their mother, and of course, freaking Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Like, what more do I need to say?
You will always be my queen.
I mean, I'm kidding. I mean, am I? Anyway, the movie is good. It's not as bad as people are trying to portray it. Like, when you see a bad movie, you know that's a bad movie. Plus, it's not like people were expecting too much from this movie with all the shakeups and all the craziness going on at DC and, you know, the divide of fans. It was no surprise that this was not a hyped up movie. And from the box office, it really is bombing. Like, yeah, I feel bad for the actors who are, you know, in this movie. But let's talk about what this movie is and some of the flaws and some of the good things about it. Let's start off with the positive things and talk about, you know, the actors. They were good, you know, believable a little when you talk about how they transition from, you know, their kid self into their adult superhero self. In this, some of the actors got to do more. Unlike the first movie, we saw more of adults more than the kids. It makes sense. You know, they want to focus on the superhero side more. When it came to the action too was, you know, it was entertaining. Are these the best action sequences that we've seen in a superhero movie? Nope. But it still kept you, you know, glued to your screen and, as I said, entertained. The camera work was fantastic, which aided in some of the fight sequences, especially when it came to, you know, Rachel Zegler's, you know, character Anthea's power. It was so cool and so, you know, jarring, and it can throw you off a little, but it's still beautiful and wonderful. Like, it is a spectacular sight and reminds me of Doctor Strange. Maybe they even pulled some inspirations from there. Now, the best parts of this movie is the family.
And it's all about family.
The family bond. Having all these kids living with these people who are not their parents but have taken them in, adopted them and loved them like their own kids. How they have also returned that same feeling and also see them as parents, even calling Rosa mom. Like, that's a very big deal. And of course, if you are making any type of movie, you want to have a certain emotional attachment to the characters and to the certain plots in the movie, and of course this was done the best in the movie. I said this is the best part. Also, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, to some she's the best part of the movie. Seeing her, or just, you know, them putting her in the trailers and releasing it, which was definitely a spoiler, it drove some people to go and watch the movie. Now that I've talked about some of the good parts, let's talk about some of the mid parts. The villains, I think they were just doing villainy stuff. Of course, we understood why they were doing what they're doing, but at the same time, they weren't that, you know, engaging. I know some people understand what I'm trying to convey. It's like they had certain good motivations, but how they delivered it and how they acted made it feel like they are just, you know, in there to cause distraction and pain and not restore and rebuild their home world. Like, look at Zod from Man of Steel. This guy wanted to destroy Earth and rebuild Krypton, but his motivations, like his acting, his conviction, this guy cared about his people and would do every single thing. That's his drive, and you can see it through the character from how he acts to his speech.
Every action I take, no matter how violent or how cruel, is for the greater good of my people.
Yeah, I understand they were trying to portray these three sisters as, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But I feel like it didn't, you know, come forth really well. But it still wasn't bad. That's why I put it at mid. Now, talking about the bad stuff, don't know whether I should bump it up to mid. But there's a weird disconnect between Billy and Shazam. How Zachary Levi is playing the character is not how Asha Angel is playing, you know, Billy. And it feels weird because Zachary Levi is playing, you know, this character as this buffoon, this idiotic, this character who's always joking around. But when he's Billy doesn't act that way, and that's how it's weird. It's like he's overacting, and I feel like they should have spent some time together to correlate between, you know, the character Billy and the character Shazam and how they will act when, you know, he's turned into Shazam. Plus, you can start to see that, you know, Zachary Levi is growing older, and yeah, Shazam is supposed to be a young guy, so I don't know whether he's going to still stay in the DCU as Shazam, but it looks that way from, you know, his tweets and from what they set up in the post-credit scenes. But I'll not be surprised if they recast him, I mean, there are so many shakeups going on. Plus, he's not getting any younger. So overall, Shazam Fury of the Gods had a plot that we've seen before. I feel like it could have been done better. The villains too as well. The family dynamic and the family bond was this strong suit. And there were genuine emotional moments that, really got me. Like Billy and Rosa, but especially with Freddy. I think most of the comedic beats landed and it was genuinely funny. The cinematography was beautiful and some of the camera work was just like amazing to look at. And the music was, it was good. And the actors also did well. Overall, I think the movie was a 6.5 and you should check it out for yourself before making any judgments. Stay away from Rotten Tomatoes. It would definitely make you think that the movie was bad. Now, as I said in the beginning, me watching it for, Grace, Megan, Rachel, Gal Gadot, Martha, I did it partly because of them, and with the other half, I did it to see, how this movie is going to turn out. Maybe see if there were some changes to the movie after James Gunn took over and they may have added later on. And it looks like it may be the case or maybe not when it came to the post-credit scene. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this movie. Like, did you watch the movie because of, these actors that I talked about and to see some of these characters? Or did you watch it because you were highly anticipating this sequel? Now, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell not to miss any new video. As always, Nerdy Sage here. See you guys in the next one.